Good afternoon, Zips. I'm excited to be here today, and I want to welcome you to the opening of the University of Akron's Affirming Our Promises strategic planning process, which will begin, I think, has already begun, I hope, and will consume us for the next couple months into June. We're approaching our 150th year, and we're poised, I think, today to begin a process of collaboration, creativity, and renewal. Before I go any further, I want to make a few introductions and acknowledge a few key leaders in this process. And all of you here will have a chance to be a leader in this process and contribute to it, but I just want to mention a few people. It's my great pleasure, indeed, to introduce the Interim Executive Vice President and Provost, Joe Ergo. Joe, why don't you come up here for a minute so everybody can see what you look like. It's a great honor for me to have an opportunity to work again with Joe. And I think as you get to know him and start to work with him, you'll come to share my respect for his deep experience in higher education, his commitment to it, and his collaborative spirit. And I think we are very fortunate to have him here in town. His wife, Leslie, is a Akron native, and they were retiring here, and I talked him into coming out of retirement. So give it up for Joe one more time, and he will be helping us on this process. Thank you. We have a couple of members of our University Board of Trustees here today. Taylor Bennington should be here if he showed up yet, and I saw Andrew Adolph. Where's Andrew? Right here. We have a great Board of Trustees. They're very engaged in this university. They're very excited about where we're going, and it's always great to have Taylor and Andrew with us. They're our student trustees, so they're here a lot. Thank you. Thank you for your work. So over the past couple of weeks, I've talked to dozens of faculty. Had a good conversation this morning with somebody in the business school. And I've been incredibly encouraged and impressed by the desire of these folks to work together to advance the promises that this university has made to itself and to its community and to its students for 150 years. And there's a lot of evidence for this. Many colleagues have volunteered to help with this strategic planning process. We have taken many of them up on this. They've added responsibilities to their already busy schedules and have taken on important roles in our affirming our promises planning process. I want to mention a few of those. Dr. Steve Ash. Is Steve here? Right here. Steve Ash. Chair of the Department of Management and the College of Business Administration. Steve will chair the Strategic Planning Work Group. This group will be tasked with taking a broad view of the institution and recommending a selected number of themes and programs for us to focus on for the next 3 to 4 years. When you came in, you received a handout as you entered the ballroom, and on that you will see a list of your colleagues, our colleagues, who have agreed to join Steve on the strategic work group. And could everybody who's on that group raise their hand so we can see who you are? Yeah. Look around, get with those people. Let's give them a round of applause for the work they're taking on. This group is not only, like all the groups we put together, this group is not only working together to come to develop a product that will move us on, but it's also there for you to hear your concerns and your ideas. So please feel free to contact those folks and visit with them and get involved. Mr. Bill Krause, who's Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management, has agreed to take on the critical role of chairing the enrollment work group. Where's Bill? I know he's here because I walked in with him. There he is. So it'll be the job of that group. This is very, very important. This will be the job of that group to develop a comprehensive opportunity, student development-based enrollment strategy, a strategy that holds true to our urban roots, that recruits all kinds of learners and increases our retention, persistence, and graduation rates in all of our students. So Bill is joined by a great group of colleagues as well, and they're listed on your handout. Could those folks on the enrollment work group please raise their hand so we can give them a round of applause? And this is a very important group. Thank you. So the University Council is the university group by university rules that is the central unit, shared governance unit for strategic planning. That group is chaired by Ruth Nine-Duff, Senior Business Analyst in the College of Applied Science and Technology, and she will lead that group, the executive committee of that group and others, along with former interim President John Green, as they develop ideas from the second revision of the 3-year plans, which are to be sent to the provost on November 11th. Is Ruth, I know Ruth's here, we talked to her, where is she? Back there. Okay. And the members of the University Council that are in the room, would you raise your hand so we can thank you for your work and the work that you will do. So we do have a web page for this planning process, and if you look on your handout, the URL is on the web page. I would encourage you to check that web page periodically because we'll be giving you updates. One of our biggest goals is to be as transparent and as inclusive as possible. So as you see things that are going on and you have concerns or you want to add your input, just go to one of the groups or the contact people on that website and make your ideas known. It's very, very important that we work together in a large community conversation about this as we go forward. You'll notice that this process is divided into 2 major groups, major segments. We want to try to do the first segment as fast as possible. That is to understand what our themes are, what our strategic initiatives will be. And we want to spend most of the time in the spring semester revising and thinking through the strategy and how we present those strategies to the world. And so there will be plenty of time in the spring and between now and the first of the year for you to get involved. We have a great opportunity in front of us, and it's an opportunity that we really must seize at this particular moment in the history of this university. This university is complex, it's very diverse, and it's vitally important to the people of this region, the state of Ohio, and the country. The university requires and deserves a well-developed plan to run in order for us to know where to go and how to operate effectively and productively. And that's what we have to deliver. That's our task between now and June. We have to have a plan that has a number of important characteristics. It's got to reinforce and support the mission of an urban research university. This plan has to hold true to our commitment, a long-standing promise to the success of all of our students, undergraduate, graduate, or any other person who engages in a learning opportunity at this university or in one of our remote sites or wherever faculty are teaching. This plan has to emphasize our academic strengths and establish a select number of priorities, and that has to be linked to our financial model. This is absolutely essential for our future. We've got to double down on things we're good at for the next 3 or 4 years in order to improve our financial situation. It's got to include a holistic enrollment strategy that encompasses all kinds of students that might come to the university. It's got to focus and expand the university engagement activities, particularly with the business sector in this region. It's got to be grounded in data and predictive analytics. We've got to understand our situation and make choices based on relevant data. It's got to operate in a time horizon that meets our financial realities. And it's got to adopt some efficiencies and, yes, unfortunately, some reductions, particularly in the short term. And the plan has to be deployed, be ready to be deployed by 2020. This is a heavy lift, but it's a lift we can do. We can do this because this university has done things like this before, and it has made these promises and kept them for 150 years. We can also do this because of our inspiration. We are inspired. This is a national research university that is inspired by its people. That is, the faculty and staff and the students are in here today. Our students who trust us to guide them and to prepare them and to engage them to achieve their ambitions and lives of significance. We're inspired by our alumni who live the inspiration of this institution every day and demonstrate it every day, and I know there are many alumni in this room. And we should be and are inspired by the people in this community who have supported this university for 150 years. We're inspired by our place. We were born in a great American city, Akron. Our growth is the result of this close relationship. Our future is dependent on this close relationship. We are literally on the hilltop as an appropriate place for enlightenment and education in this city. And most especially, we're inspired by our promises that we've made to each other and will continue to make and kept. We've promised a world-class education, and we've delivered on that, and we continue to deliver. We've promised, and we continue to deliver, that we will create new knowledge and disseminate it to the world as a research university. We promise and deliver the service that keeps this community strong, and we deliver on the promise to make each other in this university better as colleagues and friends as we work through the challenges and opportunities we have. Our plan will affirm these promises, and I am incredibly excited to get started on this. I'm deeply grateful that you will do it with us, and I look forward and invite you to make your voices known. And I hope you'll spend a few minutes in this room today before you go back to have some refreshments, socialize with some people, meet the leaders of the groups that will drive this strategic planning process. Let us know what your concerns are, and let's get busy on this great journey together. And thank you so much for coming. Go Zips!